He picks up the 5-star legendary Blaine's fucking assault
Old
minigun
Painless.
and then just fires, old Painless, and fires it in the jungle for 45 minutes, which the radiant heat off of would waft into his eyes and melt his face off.
So, I guess we'll talk about Predator. What's your history with the original Predator from 1987?
That's one of the first movies where I didn't understand that the bad guy, because when I was very young in the trailers for that, they would always show the heat vision and people running. I thought the guy running in heat vision was the Predator. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I didn't understand, because it's just but it's 1987. I was 5, dude, and it would just be, I think it would play the drums, it'd play that, and it would have Schwarzenegger, and it'd go the and make the heat vision noise, but then it would always be a shot of just one guy running in the heat vision. I thought that was the Predator. I thought that was the bad guy.
Get that fucking
I didn't
Predator.
Understand, what it was. And the first time I probably watched it was hell. I'm pretty sure I watched part 2 before I watched part 1.
Really?
But I mean, when I had watched part 2, I don't think I had that I was just like, okay, a Predator movie. I wasn't like, oh wow, this is the shit. I just think it was there, and I just was whatever. And then I watched. I'd like to remember when the hell I watched the first Predator. It had to be in the earlier mid 90s, but I just remember always thinking that the Predator was the best part of that whole movie. The design of that creature, and knowing what we could have got if old fucking JCVD was still involved with that fucking weird hook-headed motherfucker. It was all weird looking. I'm glad we didn't get that. The design where what's his name? Kevin Peter Hall, is that his name?
Yeah.
And that design of and just it being big and imposing, and I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember what I thought about it when I first watched it. I've never hated the movie. I remember liking it, but Predator 2 has always struck that chord more with me for some fucking reason. I don't know why, but no. Did you watch Predator 1 when it first? Did you watch it when you was pretty young, or?
Yeah. So I had the holy VHS trifecta growing up. I had 3 VHS tapes that I watched over and over and over again, because that's what we did as kids, because you only had a limited library of movies. So the first one was Ghostbusters.
Right.
Watched the fuck out of it.
Yep.
The second one was Child's Play. Watched the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And the third one was Predator, and I watched the hell out of it too. So I watched these so much that I kind of memorized all the dialogue, and I was just obsessed with all 3 of them, and they're all horror adjacent. So of course, I like horror movies today, so
yeah,
it kind of imprinted on me. Yeah, it's just a bunch of soldiers hunting this fucking cool alien in the wilderness, in a jungle, and what is not to love about that? Because I was also obsessed with Aliens, and what is that? It's a bunch of Marines fighting aliens, and that came out the year prior to this. So yeah, I watched it a lot. Of course, I've got a lot of nostalgia for it, and of course, I think it's still a fantastic movie. And you watched Predator 2 first, and you prefer Predator 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I
do, but it's not because, I swear to God, it's not because I watched it first, though. Yeah. I swear to God, it's not because of that.
And we'll probably talk about Predator 2, probably in the next time we record. And I really like Predator 2 as well. And a lot of people kind of shit on it, but I think it's a great sequel. But this movie kind of edges it out for me, just for the kind of simplicity of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Just brilliantly simple. I love movies that are just so simple, but just hit so well, But yeah, it kind of just starts out with they're doing a rescue mission, right? So in Central America, he's teaming up with a CIA operative that is Carl Weathers, Dylan. played by Carl Weathers, and you already know there's something shady going on when they do the arm slap and then kind of like mid arm wrestling. And he says they're not assassins or whatever, and it's just a rescue mission, and they're not going to do anything else. And usually that, and it kind of starts out, it's like 3 different movies, right? So like the first one is like Commando, basically, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're just blowing shit up, killing like 50 fucking people, and it's just pure chaos. The second part is almost like a slasher movie with a big bunch of buff guys. They're the babysitters, right? At Halloween. Yeah. And then the second one is basically a 1v1 with Arnold Schwarzenegger versus a predator. And so I just bought the movie collection on 4K, and I was watching a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with the original Predator. And did you ever see how they came up with the original idea for this?
I might know, but you may have to jog my memory.
So the Rocky franchise was big, right? In the early 80s. Mm-hmm. And then he was like fighting Russia, and he like basically ended the Cold War, right? And it's like, what else could Rocky do from here? Yep. And it's like, Rocky could fight an alien. And someone's like, an idea came out of this. Like,
I do remember that.
So I just think that was like hilarious. Like you go from Rocky boxing an alien to Predator, basically. So yeah, that's a great anecdote. I think one of the reasons I like it is just when you watch the movie, it's pretty graphic. You get like Jesse Ventura, he gets his whole fucking body like just his whole carcass, his rib cage is sticking out like this. They go they find the people who they're supposed to rescue. They're hanging upside down, fucking flayed. Yeah. It's like some of the most graphic that's like X-rated shit from the 80s. Like I never really seen much like other than like video nasties or something with that graphic of violence.
No shit. Hell, even just them executing that fucking guy they got captured. It's not graphic, but it's like they just literally, what's going on down here? And then they just pull a GI out and shoot him in the fucking head. God damn. It's like, I would have rather had the other shit, I guess. I don't know, but
and it's a Russian guy in Central America that pops him in the head. The 80s, the Cold War. The 80s. What's this Russian guy doing in Central America? Yeah, they do that, and then they have like the predator vision, the heat signal shit, and I mean, you think the other people are the predators at the time, but I thought that was like very, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like it's like I said, it's like 3 different movies, and this is like the start of the slasher movie, right? They're being stalked in a jungle. Yeah. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger is the main character. Dutch, Carl Weathers, Dylan, Bill Duke as Mac. He's like kind of like the grief and paranoia of it. Dylan is sort of like the charisma and the betrayal angle of it. Jesse Ventura, ain't got time to bleed, and the
sexual tyrannosaur.
Yeah, make you a sexual tyrannosaur. Just like me. And he's like spitting the big glob on Dylan's boot because he don't trust him, the CIA guy. And he's like, you're a bunch of slack-jawed F-words. Which is kind of funny with like 80s movies where they can just throw that around, but then we're all in awe from their greasy biceps like pulling like the shit. Like it's kind of like a two sides of a coin, like You had Sonny Landham as Billy, the spiritual tracker, which is kind of funny because I was watching the behind the scenes shit on here, and apparently they had bodyguards for Sonny, but for everybody else. Because apparently this guy is
because he was he was super violent and shit.
Yeah, so and they had to like get extra insurance for him and shit. So And then Shane Black as Hawkins.
Yeah.
So Shane Black, who made The Predator. And apparently they wanted him to write some stuff for this script, but he absolutely like refused to. And that's why the only reason they pretty much cast him in the movie. But you said you weren't too high, well, especially now, not too high on the first part of this movie.
I really like the third act, the mono shit. And this is more like okay, so it's like 3 different movies. I'm almost not really a fucking fan of that. You know what I mean? Like, we could have and I'm not trying to rewrite the movie or say I can make it better or anything, but I think I would rather them have been a platoon of people that couldn't get extracted out of the jungle. And yeah, they're badasses. They can eat billy goat puke and shit to live. So they think they're just going to ride it out until the morning or whatever. But then they start getting systematic because it's like we have all these. And I understand why they're turning it. All the action movies that were so prevalent in the 80s, they wanted to turn that on its head halfway through. But then I get, every time I watch this movie, I get taken aback by just certain things and it takes me out of it. One big part I fucking hate about this movie, and it's almost cringy to me. Most people would say this scene goes so hard. To me, it's cringe as fuck. When Max sees the fucking whatever, the creature, and he just starts shooting into the jungle. Without question, every single other fucking guy in the platoon grabs their weapons, and instead of forming a perimeter and shooting completely out in 360, they're all shooting in forward, and none of the rest of them have any emotion on their face. Literally, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the front right here like this. He's in the front part of the scene, and everybody else is like behind him in a line. He's just got this like smirk on his face going. It's just like an excuse for a bunch of people to shoot guns, and I get it because that's what. Oh, this shit goes hard. It's almost like a guitar solo in a Metallica song with guns or something. I don't know, but to me, it's just fucking dumb because the same guy, Mac, yells at Dylan because he steps on a twig and he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, if you give away our position, I'll burn you down." And then this motherfucker sees a shadow and freaks the fuck. How many times have you seen a guy blown the fuck open like that? Yeah, it was your buddy, but at the same time, it's like my point with him is that guy was way too fucking emotional to be in a goddamn special forces unit, right? And then with that bit, so. And again, I know suspending realism and shit, but that scene always stands out to me as just like, I don't know, that was, and then I get it. It's the powerlessness of what they're after or whatever, but I think that they could have done that scene even better. And then having this fucking bitch with them that they had to carry around with them, it's like, we didn't need a hostage, I don't care. Oh, this bitch speaks English. Oh, it's like, oh, now we got to translate that she sees the devil so we can make the creature seem more mysterious than it really is. It's like, I know it's the devil, motherfucker. No, I don't know it's the devil. It's a goddamn mystical thing shooting lasers at my best friends. I don't know. It's that point. But I love the camaraderie. The first part when they're in the helicopter and shit, when they do their first mission, I like all that camaraderie and shit. That first scene where they go and blow up all the fucking mooks or whatever, that's fine. But again, it's like, I think the better movie would have just been all that shit already happened. What if the movie just opened where, that the fights they're walking away from a burned jungle or whatever, and then they're all high-fiving because they did their mission or whatever. But then they look up at their fucking chopper that's supposed to extract them, and then just one of the laser cannons blows it the fuck up or something. So then they're like, oh fuck, and then that, you know what I mean? And then because it's the switch, I don't know. Like, I think part of the horror movie aspect to me, and I guess that's why Mac did what he did, is that these motherfuckers are scared. Nobody is scared. Look, these motherfuckers with machine guns and shit ain't scared at all. Until the end when they're all already fucking dead. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So I guess I can forgive Mac for kind of, because he's got to, because that's the thing. Like I don't watch horror movies. I don't really have I'm not anything like you when it comes to horror movies. I don't like them, but the ones that I do like and I watch is because I see where the fear's coming from the people that are scared on the screen. I'm like, yeah, no shit. But I'm not scared of anything when I've got fucking sexual tyrannosaur's minigun, you know what I mean? And so then when it's like, then when Schwarzenegger's running, like, because it went, then that's when I start more connecting with the movie, which is the beginning of the third part, right? Or the beginning of the third act or whatever. But again, it's hard for me to, and I have qualms with Predator 2 as well. I don't think Predator 1 is a bad movie necessarily because of those things. And I don't think Predator 1 is a bad movie whatsoever. We wouldn't have a lot of good movies if it wasn't for this. I don't know. I'm not being very cohesive with my words, but that's the parallel. Or what if there wasn't any of the other soldiers and what if it was 90 minutes of just Schwarzenegger versus the Predator? Because there's no words even spoken for like the last 20 minutes of the movie or whatever, right? Except for like, you're an ugly motherfucker or whatever. Like when he's setting all the traps up and shit, there's like no dialogue, you know? Shit like that. So it's almost like I wish they would have just stuck with one direction instead of having the three different things, but that's just me, I guess.
Yeah, I love Commando. It's just such a I love cheesy 80s action movies.
Oh, dude, Commando, I could bag on that movie all fucking day.
Yeah. That'll be a future one.
But I like it too.
Yeah, so I that's how I kind of see it. Like you said, they were kind of turning, and this is like a thing in the 80s where it's just like, action to the extreme. Guys on steroids and sweaty muscles doing badass shit, and then they're getting their shit knocked by something they can't see, and they kind of lean into it in that first part, because they're just like, they're not taking cover, they're just out in the open shooting fucking people, hitting everybody, saying one-liners, fucking shit just exploding everywhere. It's ridiculous, but I love it, and then you were saying about Mac, like, Mac is he's kind of like a couple bricks short of a load, you kind of get that vibe from him at first.
For sure.
And then you can see there's like a connection with him and Blaine, played by Jesse Ventura, and he sees him dead. I think that's like when he like just snaps, because he's never like fully himself, like fully together for the rest of that movie. Like,
right, but that is exactly my point, though. Is maybe it's just me having served in the military and having that military knowledge brain. Do you realize how often they psych eval people all the fuck? Mac would have been gone years ago if there was even a hint of that shit. Yeah, I get that. That's why I had to say the thing I said about suspend. I know I need to suspend disbelief, but it's hard to do when you want, because it's like, well, yeah, of course these motherfuckers are going to be badasses if you drop them in the jungle and they have way better equipment than everyone else, but are they just fucking little militia fuckers from Kentucky, or are these hardened motherfuckers that don't care about dying or death? You know what I mean? Like, especially in that scenario, hey, we're going to go, well, I know that they weren't even supposed to technically fight anybody in that, right? It was just they were just supposed to find out what the fuck was going on and not engage the enemy, right? Yeah. But then they saw that guy get executed and then they fucking went after him. So again, I know they needed that excuse to have a big fucking action scene, and that was great. And then, teams, the friendship, like the team's friendship is like the last thing on the line. It's all about just communication and shit, like, it's like, only speak when it's fucking necessary. If some shit like that was going on out there, but again, it's the toxic masculinity of the 80s speaking there, and not actual tactical writing. I get that. It's just hard for me to, the movie's so fucking smart in the last half. That's what I love about it. Man versus fucking alien, and you get that, it's like they almost respect each other when they're fighting. You can kind of see that shit almost, and then it's like it's like 15 minutes. I don't know. It's a hard correlation for me with that movie, but it makes it's either, can I just get more of the command? Can I see this group of commandos? Can I see these guys do a movie, just 90 minutes of them doing a mission? Or can I see 90 minutes of Schwarzenegger versus the Predator? For me, both doesn't work for me, I guess. But I understand it's fucking necessary for the movie to happen. It's like, yeah, these guys are the baddest motherfuckers on Earth, but then they came up again, the unstoppable force finally met the immovable object, but it moved through them. So I understand that. I don't know. I'm probably rambling too much, but I don't want people to come after me because I don't gel with Predator as much as a lot of other people do.
It's
because
fair.
I could literally critique every single action movie I ever grew up watching because they all are the same. It's like you said, the muscles, the whole Rambo when he's gearing up and shit. How many video games and other movies has that scene been in since? It gives every man on Earth a boner. Why is he oiled up while he's doing it? I don't like being sweaty, dude, but they did back then. I don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, so it's hard. It goes hard. I get that too, but I think some of that was a product of his time and me being older. When I go to watch stuff like that, it's like Rambo. I fucking love First Blood.
Yeah.
I almost, each time I watch the other Rambo movies, I almost like them less and less every time I watch them. That's not to say I hate them or that they're bad movies, but it's like I identify more with John Rambo, the spiritually wounded former veteran who is back home in his own country, not getting shot at. They just don't want him around. Like, you know what I mean? And then everyone thinks he's a kid. And then hey, let's turn that up to a fucking, not even 11. Let's skip 12 and 13. We're going all the way to 15 with this shit. And then we're going to save America, kill every Russian, and hell, we'll throw some Vietnamese in there and we'll kill some of them fuckers too, because they, you know what I mean? Yeah. We're going to do it all in 90 minutes and then you're going to watch. Yeah.
Dumbed down action movie.
That shit's awesome when you're, that shit's awesome when you're our age, when that came out, when you're 7 and 8 and 9, and then, but then you go out and have some real world experiences, and then you go and watch those movies again, and it's hard to identify with some of that shit.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's almost better to not know than it is to know, because then once you know, I guess that's what my problem is with some of that stuff in a long-winded way.
They're basically mercenaries, right? Like, they're not really associated with the military.
He's Colonel Dutch Schaefer. He's a colonel.
Okay.
He calls him Colonel. That one guy that sends him on the mission in the beginning calls him Colonel, that white-haired guy or whatever. Pretty sure he's a colonel. Maybe the other guys aren't.
Yeah, that's
but at the same time, I'm pretty sure they all. What's up?
Oh, I was just looking at the Wikipedia.
Or he was a major, maybe not colonel, but major.
Yeah. Well, he could have been a former military and then became a mercenary, because that's basically his team. Because you have like a explosives expert, tracking expert, and it was supposed to be like a non-official mission, right? I believe so. I don't know.
I guess so.
I mean, it would make sense if we're talking about like someone like Mac and his like, problems and shit, and they're all like fucking good buddies and stuff. But I don't know.
But then again, to go back to that, it's like, okay, I'm the guy running the team, and this guy's just shooting wildly in the jungle. Maybe, hey, fucking cease fire. What the fuck's going on, man? How much ammo do you fucking have? If we're going to live through this shit, we might not want to use every... He picks up the best gun they have. He picks up the 5-star legendary Blaine's fucking assault
Old Painless.
And then just fires, Old Painless, and fires it in the goddamn jungle for 45 fucking minutes, which the radiant heat off of would waft into his eyes and melt his face off of anyway if he put that much fire through that shit. I don't know. I could go off all day about that, but I get it.
Yeah, it's For a helicopter, not a human being, right?
I mean, fuck, like, and they're cutting like all the trees down and shit, and it even still, even that they didn't wound him then, right? They didn't get him at that point, did they?
I think they shot him.
Is that the point where they hit him?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if it was that scene or if it was the scene later when he comes and shoots what's his name's arm off.
Oh, yeah.
Because those are two different scenes. But it could have been like, because it would make more sense. Yeah, I think you're right, because that's when the chick, she has her hands tied and she bends down and she dips it off of the leaf.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
And you brought up the chick where she's kind of like acting like it's some sort of, it's the jungle, right? It's like the actual jungle attacking them.
Yeah.
And this is one of my complaints about John Carpenter's The Thing, where they show like the spaceship landing on Earth. I'm like, you don't need that scene. Like, not having that scene, I think makes it better. Like, it's more like a mystery rather than, oh, it's a fucking alien. Like, you could have taken her...
Yeah, because I can fill my own head with that shit.
Yeah, they could... I think they undercut that part with her saying it's a jungle. It could have been something mystical if you're watching it for the first time, but since you saw it come from fucking space, you know it's not the jungle. You know it's not something mystical, I guess.
Well, I think my complaint with that shit is it seems like it's like, let's get some native bush person that's never seen a fucking Nintendo or a TV or something to try to explain to the audience in a creepy, mystical way what the thing is we're fighting. Because how many times have we had that in other fucking movies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, the trees have come alive and things and the stuff and the stars and bitch, it's a fucking alien. Like, did you see what about this? What, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, it's almost like they're just trying to make people that aren't white look dumb. That's what kind of.
I mean, yeah, I
like
guess.
To me,
honestly. Yeah, I mean,
because it's always a native person. That says some shit like that. They can't ever say, I don't know, man, that shit looked crazy. You know what I mean? Like it, because they don't. It's same thing in Predator 2, dude. Fucking the goddamn Colombian girl that sees the guy get his heart cut out and shit, and then the Predator comes and kills all the Jamaicans. She says something similar, like she don't know. It was like the fucking hills came alive or some shit. Like she said it. She's not making any sense. She's saying she's bad. It's like, bitch, you're the same race she is, aren't you? Like, I don't know.
It's
it's
definitely a time capsule.
Trying to make somebody look. Yeah, exactly. A fucking time. Yeah.
Problematic or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the part where they start killing people off. So like the first one is Hawkins, played by Shane Black, right? And that's when he's chasing the girl that we're talking about, and then basically nothing's left of him. It's just a pile of guts, right? Yeah, he was like the comic relief of it, I guess. So to kill the comic relief and kind of make it a little bit more serious, The second guy is Jesse Ventura, and he don't even get a fucking much to do with the Predator, unfortunately. Like I think he thinks he sees something, and he turns around, and then like the fucking Predator shoots him in the back. Blows his fucking chest. It's like, damn, I thought you were a big game hunter. I figured you go.
Well, yeah, that's a tactical maneuver because he had the biggest firepower.
Yeah.
He knew that.
It's like, I gotta get rid of this fucker with this goddamn thing made for a helicopter, this gun. And then that's when Mac kind of like goes off. We were just talking about, mowing the jungle with their guns and nicking the Predator. They see the blood and, Another great quote is, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." So many good quotes in this. I mean, we were just talking about quotes in The Last Boy Scout, and then is it like next off on the chopping block it's Mac, right? Mac and Dylan, and they kind of go off together. Well, Mac goes off by himself, and they tried to trap it before all this, and it just got away. Yeah, Mac kind of like goes a little nuts. It's like kind of repeating himself and like he's constantly shaving, kind of like sort of dry shaving. He's like still sweaty. It's not that dry, but
I fucking made that complaint before, and so I was like, why the fuck are you dry shaving all the time, motherfucker? That doesn't make you a hard ass. You're just fucking your skin up.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I mean that another clue that Mac isn't all there, just constantly shaving. It's like, I don't know, just like a repeated thing he does. But That it's like that one part is like kind of fucks me up. I got nicked shaving recently right there, and he's like,
Well, I'll say
he's like
this.
pressing it against his fucking skin and like breaks and it's bleeding. I'm like, fuck, dude.
When I was in the military, a lot of the black guys, because you have to shave. You might remember this too when you was in basic. A lot of the black guys they called them a shaving profile. Because they would get bumps really bad.
Okay.
So, like really, really bad. So they couldn't even like shave dry. Like they couldn't shave all the way to skin. They would have to just like cut it as close as they could. They sold this shit called like bump fighter. Hell, I sometimes I'll get that stuff. You know, it's not even just ingrown hair. It's just I don't know what the fuck it is. But they would have, so when, no, and that's another thing. So knowing that and then seeing this motherfucker dry shaving and like. I don't know. Maybe he never was in the military. I don't know.
Why is his skin so smooth? Yeah, I noticed that too.
Buttery smooth.
Yeah. And then Dylan, Carla Weathers, he catches up to Duke, and they're going to kind of flank the Predator, right? They don't know the Predator has fucking heat vision. So you got Mac crawling under fucking trees and stuff. Turns around, the Predator's basically straddling him, looking at him with this fucking laser.
Yeah.
And shoots him straight in the fucking dome.
Fucking pretty crazy. Yep.
Yeah. And
wham.
Yeah. And that was like a pretty gory shot because it just basically shows the back of his head and just like blood just like cakes the camera, right? And then Dylan's there by himself now with his fucking dick in his hand. You don't know what the fuck's going on. He sees Mac, which Mac's head is still fully intact for some reason. I don't know why. But and then Dylan, now he's like seeing the fucking Predator. He sees like the sort of the camo, right? The see-through camo where he's like running and he's trying to shoot him.
Yeah.
Gets his fucking arm blown off. His hand, his disembodied arm is still shooting the gun.
Yeah.
The badass Dylan. Dylan's a badass. He takes his other arm and starts trying to shoot him again, and that's when you get the fucking claws, the fucking Predator claws, and he just like fucking just impales him with it, and it's just such a badass scene. Like I said, I never seen
that's the shit.
I never seen like a movie so graphic. You see all the fucking bloody shit coming out of the stump of his arm, and it just kind of
there's like skin pieces in it and shit.
It just like flops like that. God damn, that was so. This is all the slasher part. Now we have the Dutch, we have Billy, we have the Hispanic guy. I forgot his name. He's injured.
Yeah, I always forget that he's a pretty prolific character actor. That guy.
Yeah, and you got the lady they have hostage, right? And then this is when Billy he takes his stand against the Predator. He's like, I'm staying, and they go off. They're going to try to get to the chopper. And I thought, the Native American, he has to cut himself and he's ready for battle. And they actually made a comic book of this fight because it takes place off screen. But the comic book's only like 4 or 5 pages, but it's kind of neat to have like that to fill in the blank. But then he gets, murdered, of course, because he ain't gonna be any match for a Predator. Yeah. We have Dutch. He's carrying his injured comrade with the lady. The Hispanic guy gets shot in the head. I don't know if he was armed.
He gets shot while he's carrying him.
Yeah, before that. So he gets shot in the head, which, I mean, like, what the fuck? Why is a Predator killing the injured dude? Was he armed? He was probably still armed, but because they kind of, the scene after that, she picks up a gun, tries to shoot the Predator, but he kicks the gun out of her hand because Dutch knows that he won't attack you if you're unarmed. So I don't know. I mean, I could kind of look into it a little further into why he killed the injured dude. Maybe he just put him out of his misery. I don't know, but
that might have been just something where something got rewrote or something got edited out a little too much to where something didn't get explained maybe or something.
Yeah.
But or maybe it was just because he was involved before, he was, so I don't know. And
Dutch gets shot. He falls off a fucking cliff into water. And then he goes off a fucking like waterfall after that.
Yeah.
crawls in the mud, and the predator can't see him. So now, light bulb. He can't see him with the mud on him. He knows it's like infrared or something. So, and that is the start of your favorite part of the movie, which is the Arnie versus the alien.
Yeah, because they're both preparing to fight, and do like it's and maybe that's something too. I don't know if that's anything like, because you witness the same behavior in both movies. Does he already know? So like, he's killing the other motherfuckers to just be a means to an end because he wants to fight the other guy fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty much what it is? Because, and I could be misremembering some of this shit, but like, yeah, the Predator doesn't ever take any direct shots at Dutch until he's singled out, right? Like, I mean, he shoots dude in the head and they're running. He's not going to shoot the girl, and then he wings them, right? He wounds them.
Yeah.
And that could be like he's just playing with his food before he eats it, maybe, because that's the same thing in part 2. He spends the whole time killing off his whole team before he fights him mano a mano.
Yeah.
But I mean, and the Predator does still use his weapons and shit, but like, he could have wasted them all at one time. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into that too, but
he could have seen him as the leader, and he was basically, yeah, like you said, playing with his food. He was, it's not like he just sniped everybody. Like he went up to Dylan and fucking impaled him and everything. So
yeah,
it was just kind of like dumb luck that Dutch survived as the last one, because he crawled in the mud,
yeah.
and that's how they're kind of turning the 80s action movies on its head, because instead of like just outright strength and brawn and everything to fight the Predator, he's using his wits, and that's like the best part of the movie. I mean, I agree with you. This is the best part of the movie, where it's just like almost like a silent film. And then you have Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like building traps out of, the wilderness and preparing for battle. And basically takes that torch and screams to call for battle. And
yeah,
it's kind of nice to kind of see Arnold Schwarzenegger just like, maybe at this time he was sort of known as this action star who is like mostly invulnerable in most of his movies, but he's getting his ass kicked in a lot of this fight. So, and they get in a fight. He uses. Well, I think there's like a part of like respect where the Predator finally takes off his mask. You get another awesome quote: "You're one ugly motherfucker." And basically, he just takes off all his guns and shit, and they fight just, mano a mano. And eventually, he does outsmart the Predator, and he's mortally wounded. And we were just talking about this, how the Predator how does he communicate? So the last scene, or the last like confrontation where, he's spitting up the green blood and everything, and Arnold Schwarzenegger says,
yeah, he's laughing like Billy.
Well, before that, Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "What the hell are you?" And the Predator records that and says it back to him. So is he saying like, "How this fucking human beat me?" Like, how the fuck did you kill me?
No shit. Yeah.
And then that's when you get like the arm thing, and then he starts doing the Billy laugh. So, and then that's what kind of triggers him to thinking, I should get the fuck out of here. But do you think, well, he was gonna like bash his head in, but he decides not to. So
yeah, because he knows he's already mortally wounded.
Yeah, and then I think the Predator wants him to kill him, so I get different takes on this. Like, man, the Predator's a fucking like griefer, because he fucking blew himself up. He's going to try to blow him up too. But then at the same time, like, I think that the Predator is wanting an honorable death as well. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. What do you take on that?
The Predator is going to die on his terms.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to kill me, we're going to die. I mean, You know, because that's the other thing too. Because then he still wins too. Double KO. Double KO. Each person gets a point. So, so I mean, there you go. Like,
and Arnie makes it to the chopper, and the pilot is the actor who plays the Predator. What's his name?
Yeah, the Predator, Kevin Peter Hall.
Yeah, Kevin Peter Hall, and he gets a little cameo, and it's just like, it's kind of like a sad ending where he's just like this, just muddy, and just like, he's just like fucking done with everything. And then it's like the ending credits where it's like a fucking sitcom where it's like, oh, you're not supposed to take this movie too seriously, and it's like everyone just like, like their names and everything, except for Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's just like, but
you can't take the piss out of him. I smoke my stogie wherever I want to.
Okay, I just wanted to go through some trivia here real quick. The original film began as a spec script titled Hunter, and evolved, from, like I said before, a joke about Rocky Balboa fighting an alien, leading to a story about an extraterrestrial hunter hunting the most dangerous species, humans. Okay, I was watching the behind-the-scenes stuff of this, and Penny...
Boards still say Hunter on it.
Yeah, oh, it does it? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, if you look. Thought that was what you was going to say.
So I was watching it, and then Penny was in there watching it. So have you ever watched The Rehearsal or anything with Nathan Fielder?
No, I watched a little bit of Nathan for You. He's a pretty fucking crazy dude. He's funny.
So The Rehearsal, his show on HBO is currently, we're watching it now. The new season's on. And there was like interviews with John McTiernan. And Penny's like, is that fucking Nathan Fielder? He looks like an older Nathan Fielder and sounds just like him. It's wild.
The process of teaching myself to work was that I'd made up movies on the back of my eyelids.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get that out of the way. Let's say, like you said before...
Predator trivia. Yeah. Nathan Fielder looks like John McTiernan.
Yep. Jean-Claude Van Damme, we already talked about that, his involvement. Initially cast as the Predator, Van Damme was expected to bring a martial arts flair to the creature. However, his small stature, he's 5'9", compared to the towering leads, made the Predator less intimidating. Additionally, Van Damme reportedly found the suit cumbersome and is unhappy about being unrecognized on screen, leading to his departure. So you've seen videos of this, right? Where is like the red suit.
Yeah.
Did you see the one where he's got this weapon and he's like this, and he goes, it's like a spinny thing that shoots towards the screen? That's like fucking hilarious. Unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah, and it's funny that he basically wrote himself out of the fucking movie. He was such an insufferable fucking twit then. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to see me. Nobody knows who the fuck you are in 1987, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck else was you in? You was in some movie about a kid that wanted to be a karate hero and he had to fight you. And I remember that movie. It came out like 1985. Then you couldn't even speak English in that fucking movie.
Yeah, and...
Anyways...
Yeah, I guess he was pretty difficult to work with, too. So, I'm sure it was, like, miserable experience shooting in Mexico where they were filming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the original Predator design featured a long neck and dog-like head, which proved impractical for jungle filming. They actually had this design, and you haven't watched the movie yet. They had an alien with this design in Predators. So you actually get to see like that original Predator in Predators.
Oh, how that would have looked.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, Stan Winston's redesign, he was hired to revamp it. It was kind of funny, is like in the extra features, they're asking for more money to redo the creature. And it was like, I don't know about that. And then they showed them the footage of the creature, like the producers and stuff, like, okay, here's the money. Yeah. This fucking sucks. Yeah. Save the movie. Well, they hired Stan Winston to redesign it, and then, like, of course, you know, the Mandibles, he was on a flight with James Cameron. James Cameron came up with
James Cameron's the one that came up with the ideas for the Mandibles, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Kind of like Alien.
It's a great connection, dude. Yeah, it's a fucking great connection, yeah.
Yeah, the invisible cloaking effects. That's the red suit. That's what they're doing with the chroma key and stuff. Yeah, glowing blood is basically glow stick fluid and personal lubricant.
Yeah, just glow stick stuff. Yeah,
the lubricant they put glow on their bicep.
KY jelly.
Yeah,
yeah, God.
I mean, One of the things I love about Predator is just like the slow reveal of the Predator. You see its vision, how it sees. You see the cloaking, Then you see it with the mask on, and then you get the mask off. Yeah. It's just like the slow build up to seeing what that Predator looks like. I think it's just like, and it's like one of the best movie monsters, I think, and design and everything. So
there's a reason why they still try to use it in everything.
Yeah.
It's so fucking, it's just a big hulking motherfucker with a cool ass head and fucking dreads, and all his weapons are cool, and and he doesn't hardly say shit, and when he does, he's basically just fucking with you.
Well, I remember
some candy.
Yeah, I remember that G.I. Joe you were wanting to get that was inspired by the Predator. You were telling me years about
Shadow Tracker.
Yeah, Shadow Tracker. Fuck.
And he's such a popular he that one-off character that was created basically at the very end of the last 3 3/4 G.I. Joe toy line that came out in like 2011 or 12. It was the last original one where it wasn't like an anniversary series or anything. That's the hardest figure of that entire line to find, because that's basically what he is. Somebody was like, what if the Predator was a human and he was in Cobra? Now, my second point with that is they have a new G.I. Joe toy line out where I think they're 6 or 7 inch figures, and they're called G.I. Joe Classified, and they come in a box where so you can always open them and they're a window. They fucking made Shadow Tracker for that line.
Oh,
so
fuck.
They've made another fit, and that one I think I can get a hold of easier, so I'm going to try to get that one.
Sweet.
But yeah, that figure came with a spear, he came with a net, he came with a throwing knife, which is basically the glaive, the throwing circle thing, and then I'm pretty sure he has a fucking gun on his shoulder. I can't remember if he does or not, but and then he's got dreads, and I think his face is fucked up under the mask. I don't know for sure.
So he's an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. And he's an ugly motherfucker. Yeah, so, and I don't think you can take the mask off, but it's like translucent green or whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the design of the Predator is so awesome. And then there's featurettes on Predator 2 where, like, when they were making they was like, well, this is a different Predator, so he has like different features. He's a little bit slimmer. It's the same guy portraying him, but like, I can't remember I need to find that again. I have that figure I've shown you before, the Predator 2 figure, and his weapons are different, like, because he doesn't have that circle glaive in the first movie, and he doesn't even have the combat stick either. He doesn't have that spear that extends. He just has, all he has is his arm cannon, right? And his claw?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a spear in the first movie, right?
No, he doesn't have the disc. He doesn't have a net. It's basically like...
Yeah, and he doesn't have the disc.
Claw
yeah. He just has the laser gun. Yeah, so they gave him like more stuff and that shit was all fucking cool. But yeah, you got to have somebody physically imposing if every single person that he's fighting is like a 6 foot tall, muscle bound roid wrestler or fucking, goddamn it, Billy Bear. What's his fucking name? I call him Billy Bear because that was his name in 48 Hours.
Sonny, or the actor's name?
Yeah, Sonny Landham.
Sonny Landham. Yeah.
Sonny Landham. Yeah. Yeah. Which I like that guy. Like, I mean, too bad he was kind of like a fucking piece of shit for real in real life and shit, but I like his look, and he was a hell of a bad guy in the movies I got to see him in.
Yeah, some of the themes for it: machismo and Cold War masculinity just deconstructed, man versus nature versus technology versus alien, the hunter becoming the hunted, minimalism in dialogue versus maximalism in action, paranoia and horror in a military context. Let's see. Yeah, legacy and impact. Yeah, it spawned a lot of sequels. We'll probably be talking about Predator 2 next time. You'll probably have a lot more to say about that, I'm sure. Crossovers with Alien, of course, the Dark Horse comics. I read a lot of Dark Horse comics. I think one of my favorite comics...
Oh, yeah.
I think one of my favorite comics growing up was Batman vs. Predator, because it was so good. It's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... I try to read the other ones, like they made sequel comics to it. That first one was just so good.
Yeah.
It felt like Predator 2 to me. Like, and
Yeah.
Batman's like the perfect guy to fight a predator, and the art and everything was fantastic.
Yeah.
And video games. Did you ever play the Nintendo game? I heard it's like god awful.
Buddy, you're fucking pink in that movie or in that game. You're fucking. No.
Not going to stream that one, huh?
You couldn't pay me to stream that game. You could be like, hey, you could donate however much money you want to me. I'll play any game you want. And somebody will say Predator on NES. I'll say you ain't getting your money back because I ain't playing that shit. It's fucking terrible, man. There's a Predator 2 on the Genesis that's actually pretty neat. It's actually, like the whole point of the game is you have to rescue hostages before the Predator kills them, which is kind of weird, but it's a goal-based game. It's like every level, rescue 12 hostages or whatever. And then you're kind of like on the clock. But it's a fucking fun game because it's an overhead like shooter game. It's really fun. Like it's hard. That's a game I would stream that fucking game. And there's parts and there is a boss fight where you fight the Predator at the end in the ship. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you should stream that sometime.
Yeah, I might.
And also video games. There's the arcade Aliens vs Predator. That's Dutch Schaefer, right? From this movie. So and he's got the robot
guy you
arm.
play as with the robotic arm.
Is that why you got shot in the shoulder? Is that why you need a robotic arm? No.
I don't know if it ever reveals that or not. But yeah, but that's him. Yeah, because it's the same. It's the exact same name. He's a big muscle bound guy with a flat top.
Yeah.
So they obviously couldn't use Schwarzenegger's complete likeness, but it's him. And goddamn, I could talk a whole fucking video about just how awesome that game. Not even because it's the same thing. It's attention to detail, just like GTA. Like the fucking music could be from a Predator movie. There's a couple of stage themes in that game that just get my blood going. Like fucking, I want to stab every alien in the head with my stick. Let's go. And then, you and I have played it several times together, but just the attention to detail. They have the alien. They literally have the alien designs from the first game and the second game in it. New ones. Weyland-Yutani. The whole dynamic of the Predators with the humans, like at the end of the movie or at the end of the game. I don't know if you remember the ending. He breaks off one of his claws and gives it to Dutch. He's like, "Oh, we're coming back, but we won't be friends this time." You know what I mean? It's like we did y'all a favor. We still need our hunting ground. We'll be back. It ain't gonna be on fun terms though.
We need to play that together
the shit,
sometime.
The whole.
We need to play all through it sometime.
Yeah, and then you literally fight an infected predator and a predator that's got a chest burster in it. So it's called a mad predator. Remember that? He's got blue skin and shit.
I need to play it again.
Yeah, that's what sucks is you had every opportunity to make a good Predator game and it took until an arcade beat 'em up by Capcom that's not even tied to any existing property beyond Alien and Predator, and then we throw a ninja girl in it with a samurai sword for some reason because weeps. And then there you go. We got a fucking awesome game. They had a beat 'em up SNES Alien vs Predator game. I never played that.
Yeah, I did. It's dog shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I rented it. It was bad. Okay, so I know this isn't your favorite movie, but from today, what would you rate it out of 5? Personally,
I'd rate it 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Again, I recognize the movie for its impact. The filmography and everything is great. All the action, everything that you watch visually in that movie is awesome, and every problem I have in it is like a me problem. But my personal opinion of the movie is I give it a 3 out of 5. Basically, it gets at least 1 point for just its culture, everything it's done for movies and everything it's done for just Predator existing has expanded nerd culture. How much? You know what I mean? From all the movies and properties that we've got from it, and they haven't all been winners, and then I give it it's one of Schwarzenegger's best 80s movies for sure. It definitely is. I wouldn't say it's his best. I'd say that would be Terminator, but and then, give it another point for, like I said, just the visuals. The effects are good. The fucking over-the-top bloodiness of it is very graphic. All the action's really well done in it. They front load a lot of it in the beginning, and then it's less action packed at the end. But you kind of need a beater there after all that, or beat or two. But yeah, I mean, I would never give this like a 1 out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like it, you know, I'm not gonna be like Tommy Tallarico and say that Smash Brothers Melee is the worst game of all time and then act like I never said that shit later on. You know, I mean, when I'm on video reviewing it for a fucking review site like I'm doing now, I never said Predator was yeah, whatever. Yeah, Predator's dog shit, 1 out of 5. Get the fuck out. No. But yeah, for real, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Like, you know, I would have probably gave it higher when I was younger because whoa, action, whoa, blood, whoa, you know, there was no tits in it, but, you know, it would have got you know, 10-year-old me would have gave it another point if there was some boobs. No boobs. We didn't get any boobs in that movie.
Yeah, man. I give it a 5 out of 5.
I'm not gonna be like a hater.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it when we talked about The Last Boy Scout. Like, you asked me if I think this is one of the best action movies ever made. I'm like, for me, they're pretty neck and neck, and they're both, you know, Die Hard and Predator. John McTiernan made Predator in then Die Hard came out in 1988. That is like the best 1-2 combo ever, in my opinion. I think Die Hard is the better action movie, but I just love Predator. I would
definitely rate Die Hard better than Predator.
And I don't know, it's just like the design, the lead up, the build up, the just like turning the 80s action shit that I still kind of enjoy on its head. The one-liners, it's just like, and I always have fun watching it. Like, oh, Predator's on? Well, fuck, I gotta sit down and watch the whole thing. I can't just watch part of it, you know? There's certain movies like that for me, and this is definitely one of them. Yeah, it's one of my favorite action movies of all time, so
That's literally how I am. Like, I literally clicked on Predator on Hulu because I was like, I wanted something to watch while I was playing a game. And then when I scrolled over to pause it, you know, when you hover over, it'll bring the GUI up, the UI, and it'll show. It literally said, up next, Predator 2. I clicked on that. I didn't finish Predator 1 because I was like, well, fucking Predator 2's right there.
Well,
that's the thing. Like, Predator 2 does to me what Predator 1 does to you. But I would never take that away from you because I'm not going to be a fucking callous asshole and be like, Predator sucks. Because I don't think the movie sucks. I just have, it's that same thing. Like, I didn't have that. I wish I watched RoboCop when it came out on video. Pretty much the week it came out on video. I didn't watch Predator until probably I was in 7th grade. So I can definitely owe to that I don't have as much love for this movie as most people because it wasn't it. And you also remember I didn't have a lot of I didn't have like cable till 1996, and the movies I got to rent usually wasn't my choice. You know, and if I was gonna rent something, it would have been, you know, I didn't take a lot of chances and shit. It was honestly until, you know, like you and I started hanging out and stuff, and that I got my mom and you is who I owe movies to for the most part, and because mom took that, I wouldn't know Buckaroo Banzai, I wouldn't know The Thing. I wouldn't know if that wasn't from that. Those were from The Warriors. That's my mom.
Yeah, I watched The Warriors,
the first Conan movie. Yeah, so I mean, it's like that. I owe a lot of that to her. But then the other stuff, it's like, you know, when your movie brain started turning on when we was like junior high and shit. You're like, hey, you're fucking seen this? It's like, I'm never gonna trust anything you say. You said Star Wars fucking sucks, you know, but it does now. But those original movies don't. But anyways, that's a joke. But still, I was like, so that's where I get all my like music. I get from like Kevin or my own findings. Video games, I'm usually pretty, like, obviously I listen to people if they have an opinion, but usually I'm pretty good at finding out what is what on that. And then you're my movie guy, so. But
yeah, for sure,
because you've introduced me to a lot of really good movies I never would have watched before anyway, because I don't, you know me, I don't pursue movies. I just have to be in a weird movie. I want to watch a movie, you know what I mean, while I'm doing something else. Like, I wish I could play Predator the movie while it's going on, and then just, we won't go to the jungle, man. Like, what's at the army base? There's some titties there, you know what I mean? We don't have to fight the Predator, man. We can just stay at the base and say, fuck Dylan, he's a shady fuck anyway, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Next time we'll talk about Predator 2. That's due for a rewatch for me, especially since I just bought the 4K Blu-rays.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update. If you want to support the channel and get exclusive content, check out our Patreon in the link below.